Okay, folks, today we're going to do a quick review on the 511 Tactical Series Operator's Belt. You know, I wear quite a few belts on the job, but I needed something a little sturdier. So after doing some investigation, quite frankly, looking at YouTube videos myself, I wanted to find a belt that could not only carry a firearm, but could carry extra mag pouches, extra gear, maybe a baton, etc. That way when I'm on the job, but want to be low profile, I could do something to this effect. So here's what I did. I went out and I purchased this operator's belt made by 511. I got to tell you, I'm really impressed with it. I've worn it for a shift or two. I've worn it in a club that's full capacity, bumping into people, and I got to tell you, it's very comfortable fit. So we're going to go over a couple things. First off, what we're looking at here is a solid, this is just a flat out solid cut stainless steel 511 buckle. I mean, this thing is pretty heavy duty. It's not going anywhere. It's double and triple stitched everywhere we need it to be. It's basically 2-ply, very little flex, unlike a leather belt or even some lower cost belts. Not a lot of flex here. It's not going to move, okay? What you're not going to be able to do is bend it, okay? And then once we get down here, it goes down to a single layer. And there's a real good use for that because we have some Velcro here so that once we get the belt on, we're able to Velcro it on so that way there's no slack. There's no slack. So a couple of things. First off, when I ordered this belt, I went ahead and ordered 1 3/4. Now, they also make this belt and other belts at 1 1/2. The reason why I went 1 3/4 is besides the fact that I'm a bigger fella in general as far as tallness and those sorts of things, I realized something when I was looking at different gear that I had. Quite frankly, if I want to take just your average Glock mag pouch and I take the belt, I notice that it clips in and that all of these holders are exactly 1 3/4. So 1 1/2, although that's only a 1/4 inch, you'd have a little give. But at 1 3/4, it fills that gap nicely, and it makes it so that this, quite frankly, doesn't move. It allows those bottom clips to engage. When I look at holsters, whether it's a Blackhawk or for today's purpose, I'm going to be talking about a little something else. When I put this through, again, you'll see that at 1 3/4, there's not a lot of give, whereas at 1 1/2, there may be too much give. May allow this thing to shift, and I want my items to stay tight on my body. So I went out and I purchased this. Now I'm gonna demonstrate it pretty simply. Now, also at 1 3/4, and that's really the reason why I'm making this video, because there is some differences between 1 3/4 and 1 1/2. Some people are concerned that they won't fit. I'm not wearing True Specs, but I got to tell you, I've tried it with True Specs. I've tried it with 511s. I'm wearing simple cargo pants. You know, most pants can handle 1 3/4, so I'm going to actually slip this on over top of my belt just for the heck of it. When I put this on, goes through no problem. Okay, now, again, this is all 2-ply, so this can be a little stiff getting through my loops, okay? But here's where it goes down to just 1 layer. Maybe I should say maybe I should say layers instead of ply. But ultimately, when I put this through and I go to tighten this up, very easy. Now, when I tighten this up and I go ahead and pull, okay, I'm basically at the end of the 1-ply, okay, and then I have, what do I do with all this flap? I don't want it to lean over. I don't want to put it in like a normal belt buckle. This allows me to use the Velcro portion and just bloop. So because I'm wearing a belt underneath, I'll move this over so I don't have buckle on buckle, okay? But ultimately, this is nice low profile. It's not going anywhere. I can make it a little tighter, okay? I can wear a belt underneath. Still, notice it still fits in your standard loops, no problem. And then when I put gear on, just to kind of use this as an example, I'll actually pull this down until I feel it click. Now I know that this is just flat out isn't going anywhere. I have run at full speed with this gear. I have run, walked, bumped into people. People bumped into me. You know, when I have my sidearm, you know, I work on my retention when people bump into me or I'm walking through a crowd. But ultimately, none of my equipment has moved. This is a great improvement from what I was doing before. You know, I do a lot of security work, and I got to tell you, I really like this. Other thing I like about this is if I'm just running out, I can use this as a primary belt. So if I'm not carrying a bunch of gear, I can use this just to hold a sidearm, just to hold some magazines, those sorts of things. So I can use this as my everyday